cloning is a mental model that can give anyone who does it a huge edge in life. So I think Buffett's partner Charlie Munger talks about mental models, and he talks about the lattice work of mental models, where you overlay different models on top of each other. So if you uncover a truth about human behavior, and it is not generally well understood by most humans, it's going to give you an edge. So one of the quirks about humans is that somehow most humans think that copying or cloning is beneath them. It's something which is maybe not to be done. But actually, the exact opposite is true. If you look at a company like Microsoft, um, almost everything they have built, and they've built a very successful business, has been cloned from somewhere else. And so, for example, Word came out of WordPerfect. Excel was copied from Lotus. Explorer was copied from Netscape, and Microsoft Money from Quicken. And even now, when they've gone into Azure and the cloud, they're trying to catch up with Amazon Web Services. So um, even MS DOS, which was their original operating system, was not built by Microsoft. They actually bought MS DOS from a small company, and then adapted it, and so on. So basically, almost all of the success of the business has come from copying and cloning. The same thing is with Walmart. Sam Walton spent an enormous amount of time in his competitor stores. And at least for probably the first 20 years of Walmart's existence, there was nothing that Walmart did that had not been done before. And in fact, Sam Walton used to say that he got all his best ideas from his competitors. And so cloning has been really a powerful tool. And I found when I was probably I still have not understood why humans have an aversion to cloning. I don't know why exactly that kind of genetic programming is there in us. But what I do know, because I've studied it for almost 3 decades, that there is a sliver of humans who embrace cloning. And those humans have gotten an unfair advantage in life because they've done that. And so when I encountered Buffett's approach to investing, which was, I think, in 1994, almost like 27 years ago, one of the things that perplexed me was that hardly anyone followed that approach. So when I looked at the industry, the investment management industry, I had expected to find that they would be following Warren Buffett's approach because he had the best record, and he had, in an open book format, shared the approach he had taken. So it was not secret. He had broadly shared and written about his approach. But all these quote unquote industry participants and experts did not use his approach. So I said, okay, I understand why they're not using it, because the same thing happens in many other fields. And it means there's an opportunity. And so I decided I'm going to go all in and embrace it. And it worked really well because there's very few people who do it. Radhakrishan Damani, R.K. Damani, is one of the richest men in India. And now he is a strong supporter of Dakshina. He gives us about 7 crores every year. And he would give us more, but we just can't use the money. Our model cannot use that much money. And I spent a day with him when he had come to our campus in Pune and so on. And I asked him a lot of questions about DMart. And so I said, how does a guy who's like an investor and a trader start a company like DMart? How does that happen? right? Because it's not just a company he founded, it became very successful. And he's a man of few words, and he would just be quiet when I ask him the question. So I said, look, it's a 3-hour ride. I'll keep repeating the same question for the next 3 hours. So if you want to keep hearing me ask the same question and you keep quiet, then I'll be like a, record player on repeat, right? So he said to me after a while, I read a book. Okay. So I said, okay, like which book did you read? So he said, I read Sam Walton's autobiography, okay, Made in America. So I said that book was published, is that book has sold millions of copies and been published in almost every language imaginable. I said a few million people read that book. Okay, I don't see a few million DMarts set up. I only see one DMart. So he said, I read that book many times. Okay. And he said, then I studied that model very carefully. And actually, if you look at DMart is a cloned model of Walmart and Costco. There is almost nothing original about what DMart is doing. And most of their competitors, even though it is very transparent exactly how they are doing so well, no one follows that model. And so DMart is basically a monopoly. And cloning is a mental
That's
model that will give you a huge edge in life.